Pochi Wanmaru slams Idol Corp. Idol Corp is one of the more respectable VTuber agencies in the space. They are mentioned in the same breath as Phase Connect. Unfortunately, one of Idol Corp's VTubers decided to put out a Google Doc detailing her time at the company, and it is not looking good. Pochi Wanmaru has obviously signed contracts in order to join idolEN, and that is why she is unable to speak publicly regarding her experiences at idolEN. So she put out a statement on her alt account. Fen Riru VT and would say, "Let's talk about my time working at NotStarbucks," referring to idolEN. "I may be less active for a bit because this is causing me extreme anxiety and I want to spend time with Mama Fen as she is visiting starting tomorrow." Pochi is unable to call out a company by name, so whenever you hear her say NotStarbucks, she's talking about Idol Corp, her VTuber agency. Pochi would begin by saying, "Let's talk about the time I worked at NotStarbucks. I will be replacing NotStarbucks with idolEN so we can all understand a little more regarding what Pochi is trying to tell us. Idol Corp has not provided an extended break notice despite my request to do so a long while ago. This situation has caused me significant worries. I wanted to take a break from accumulated stress from the very start to the present because of several issues that Idol Corp has had. While I recognize some internal issues are being worked on, there has been limited acknowledgement of responsibility for past incidents. I have experienced difficulties primarily in my interactions with Mr. Man," referring to Idol Corp staff. "I was scheduled to receive my share of the second promo event earnings given to me in support by customers in early February to help and facilitate my move to another country, including various expenses like furniture, soundproofing, and better equipment, as agreed, and being the sole reason for my second promo event. But I did not receive anything." Pochi is referring to the donathon, which she conducted 10 December 2023. You can see on screen, there's a loading screen that says Move Donathon Funds. Most of the earnings will help cover the costs of the recent move, furnishing, and soundproofing. Still, it is strange that Idol Corp has refused to give Pochi the money she's owed. Pochi is actually in the same generation as Rin Penrose. They debuted together. So why would Idol Corp risk angering one of Rin Penrose's gen mates? Doesn't make sense. So let's continue. Let's see what Pochi has to say regarding Idol Corp and why Idol Corp is refusing to pay Pochi the money she deserves. Just remember, people who donate on a donathon expect the money to go to the VTuber in question, not the company. Pochi would continue by saying, "The lack of funds has caused me financial hardship. I have been under the impression that I would be paid. I was told that it would be sent or being sent at the time. And like the first promo event and all the other promo events, I should have received the funds on my next paycheck." Pochi would go on to explain why Idol Corp decided to freeze her funds. Pochi said she was recently told that the funds were frozen due to saying I wouldn't do my tasks, which is false. We were still discussing and in the middle of negotiations. There were mentions of other tasks over which I had no control over. For example, an idolEN minigame, an idolEN staffed mascot, and that was what I was referring to. We now take a look at the Google spreadsheet, which Idol Corp has prepared for their fans. So the thing is, Idol Corp has had trouble with their talents fulfilling their donathon rewards. So what happened is they just released this entire spreadsheet so the fans can see what is completed and what has not been completed. This is Pochi's part of the spreadsheet, and you can see here Pochi still hasn't done the Pawn Pups mascot plushie, which she promised her fans. You can see here it says TBD to be done. And then over here you can see Pochi hasn't finished her minigame as well. It says down here Pochi game, TBD to be done. So it hasn't been done. Pochi would go on to say that Idol Corp's decision not to give her donathon money concerned her because she stated multiple times that she could do her tasks, and she would say it seemed illogical as I had learned I would not receive the funds. Prior to this part in our negotiations, I was told by someone else at the Idol Corp that the actual reason was because I had a work leave notice active. Regardless, this shouldn't have changed anything since there was a significant established lapse of time before my leave, and I was more than open to negotiate and compromise to do my work and tasks during that time and extend the work leave notice. Around the start of January, I had issued a work leave notice because of my experiences at Idol Corp. I want to emphasize that issuing the work leave notice was not related to the promo event. I planned to see what was possible, what my options were, and what we could agree on, finish my tasks of the promo event, and exit with no complications. Keep in mind, we are near the end of the March as of writing this Google Doc, and I could have worked on tasks for the promo event this entire time. Right guys, so from what Pochi is saying, when she said exit with no complications, I think Pochi is saying she tried to graduate, but because she couldn't receive the donathon rewards, she still stayed at the company. What I understand from this. Let's go back to the Google Doc. There were instances of undue pressure and coercion over the past months, going back and forth, such as punitive terms in documents I was given to sign and threats. I refused to sign anything for my own mental well-being, protect my freedom. Other well-meaning individuals joined in the negotiation near the tail end, but it was still unfruitful, as Mr. Man refused to budge. In the end, I knew refunds might have to be issued despite being a last option because of my financial situation and the possibilities of resolving this. I was very recently made aware by customers that upon asking for refunds, messages sent by Idol Corp to customers indicated no refunds would be offered because I was presently working on and on my way to finishing my tasks. False, as we had not yet come to an agreement while simultaneously claiming I would not do my tasks. I hadn't received anything either way. In the end, it is the right thing to do for customers because we were unable to find a way for Idol Corp to let me complete my tasks. I have been feeling very unwell because of this situation, and I have made this known to Idol Corp. It has affected me mentally and physically, where I have needed to see a doctor. Most days, I feel very depressed and brain fogged, completely out of it, and I struggle to do anything, including coffee making. I have felt lonely and isolated, worsening my anxieties. I am very exhausted. I tried my best. Pochi would end the document by saying, I have respectfully asked Idol Corp to respect my privacy and discontinue any further attempts to contact me. Despite holding evidence, I've chosen not to disclose further details out of consideration for the other VTubers and Idol Corp staff. I believe it prudent for all parties to move forward and disengage from this matter. Continued engagement serves no purpose and will only perpetuate harm and validate my experiences. Wait, do you know what this means? Pochi has cut off all contact with Idol Corp. That means she has officially, or rather unofficially, left the company. Idol Corp is going to have to put out a statement soon. If the CEO of the company, basically Aviel, if he's unable to convince Pochi to come back, he's going to have to put out a notice informing everyone that Pochi has left. Overall, I think both parties are screwed. Pochi is screwed money-wise because Idol Corp will never give her money back. Idol Corp is screwed because they've had a slew of controversies starting from Riro Ron's situation, leading up to the Yuko Yurei announcement where she would start changing up her content. And now we have the Pochi controversy, where management has withheld her donathon money, which should have gone to her, but she never received it because she decided not to finish doing her work, meet the donathon goals. Both parties are screwed. I kind of feel bad for Pochi here because she just moved into another country. So not only does she not have money, she basically has lost her job as a very lucrative VTuber. And she was in a really good spot as well. idolEN is one of the more respected VTuber corpos. So losing a spot there is going to be a really hard pill to swallow. So I guess it's still her decision. Negotiations broke down for a reason. It was because she refused the terms. That means Pochi is broke right now. She doesn't have the money. I guess if you want to give her money, you could always go to a new account, the Fen Riru account. That's not the end of the story though. Pochi would also post something else as Fen Riru, and she would post DMs regarding her time at Idol Corp. Those DMs were deleted because Pochi said those DMs from Idol Corp was deleted because Pochi said, I will delete it out of caution, but I just wanted people to know my side. It's extremely frustrating because there is still only so much I can say. But in the end, it is not worth it. People will have all sorts of narratives and opinions. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. Thankfully, someone managed to save Pochi's DMs with Idol Corp before it was deleted. So let's take a look. Pochi's DMs would say, I did want to check though if my payment is going through because redacted said something some days ago and it hasn't applied to me. I don't know if others received theirs either. It could be stuck processing, but I would like an update on that. I know it's a bigger amount because of my donathon, but it shouldn't be withheld for any reason if that is what could be going on. I actually have a second image which I managed to save, and you can see here the redacted part in red is actually Aviel because it says down here, In the second part of the DM, I did want to check though if my payment is going through because Aviel said something some days ago and Pochi messed up. She forgot to blot out Aviel's name. She tried blotting out Aviel's name, but she forgot to check it properly. Obviously, Pochi is talking about Aviel here. A staff member would then respond to Pochi's DM saying, I'll definitely forward this over to redacted. He did mention that payments should have been sent out, but this was on the 2nd of February, so I'll double check with him to see what's the status of that. Then we had another reply saying, he said any amount over $10,000 will take a little longer to process, but it should have been sent. We have another DM, which is someone reaching out to Pochi to explain. I understand your concerns, however, as it stands, the talent is working on their donathon rewards with the majority of the goals already completed as planned. Previous awards have been shipped to fans, and the latest awards will be as well. Tipping, including during donathons, is optional and should only be done with the intention of wanting to support the talent. Pochi would then go on to show us a screenshot of her explaining the situation in further detail. Pochi would say, yes, they take the usual 40% cut. Yes, the funds were supposed to be sent first. They always have. A new policy was issued after or during our negotiations without my knowledge. If it weren't for my financial situation and move, I would have been more lax about the timing of the funds. The work leave notice was from separate issues and I am within my right to want to leave when the tasks are done. Pochi would also respond to the allegations of various people who have said that she could have tried to take away the donathon money and just run away to another country. Pochi would say, no, I didn't plan to run away. That is career suicide and I'm grateful to the people who support me. Even Idol Corp knows I wasn't going to run away. We tried to negotiate for a long time, but we couldn't agree. People who know me know it's not what I'm about. This is a false narrative because people suck. I wanted to do my tasks, but a lot of time was wasted because they would not release the funds and kept me in limbo. I haven't been active because a break notice was supposed to be issued and later I wasn't allowed to post and I can't be active in the right headspace when this stuff is going on either. Idol Corp has always allowed breaks and/or slowing down where needed. And I hope this isn't used against me later by claiming I didn't meet X or Y. And that's it. That's the entire leak. Pochi has left Idol Corp. She is now Fen Riru. Fen Riru would say that she may stream something fun on Twitch to catch up and situate herself with where she left off. He's not sure when she will be coming back. She could return in a few days or sooner, but she would update her fans. As for Aviel, the CEO of Idol Corp, he's going to have to fix the situation. There's been 3 controversies one after the other, from the Riro Ron situation to the Yuko Yurei situation, and now the Pochi Wanmaru situation. Honestly, I don't think Idol Corp will collapse, because at the end of the day, Pochi may be one of the largest members of idolEN with 75k subscribers, but she's not the largest here. The face of the company is actually Pochi's genmate, Rin Penrose. The Blahaj simp and PowerPoint enthusiast can't seem to get an IKEA sponsorship no matter how much she begs. As long as Penrose is with Idol Corp, it's not the end. Plus, it seems Aviel is bent on salvaging the situation. This is his blog post where he talks about improvements about idolEN. This blog post was actually released before Pochi put out the Google Doc explaining the situation. So it's not a response to her Google Doc. It's actually an attempt to improve the company and how it's run. Plus, you have to remember that Pochi's DMs, based on a screenshot, dates back to the 9th of February. So the CEO of Idol Corp has known about the situation for a while now. It makes sense that he would start improving the situation now, when everything is not salvageable anymore regarding the Pochi situation. So what Aviel plans to do is that he plans on giving company credit cards to his VTubers so they can purchase things like video games and equipment and other things they might need for their stream. The VTubers at Idol Corp do not need to talk to their managers before buying these items through these company credit cards, potentially speeding up the process. Aviel also introduced a quarterly budget. He plans to give $1,500 or 20% of the quarter's revenue to his VTubers. Quarter means 12 months divided by 4. So the amount of money that Aviel will give to any single one of his VTubers is either $1,500 every 3 months or 20% of the revenue from the past 3 months, whichever is higher. On top of the quarterly budget, Aviel has also decided to introduce a generation budget, which will be given each quarter, every 3 months, and is equal to $1,500 multiplied by the number of talents in a generation. Just for context, Say you want to know how much money Aviel will give to Rin Penrose's generation. You can see Rin's generation has 5 VTubers, which has now dwindled to 4 after Pochi left the company. So it's 4 multiplied by $1,500. That means Rin Penrose's generation budget is $6,000 every 3 months. That will amount to $24,000 per year that Rin and her fellow genmates can use to put on large-scale performances which will grow their channels. Aviel will also introduce donathon coverage. So what happens is that Idol Corp will start covering all project expenses for different goals, so talents can just take home the earnings they make from the donathon without worrying about paying for all the goals they promised to do. This also means Idol Corp will never profit from any donathons that the Idol Corp talents do on their channels. This is a good thing, because after the Pochi situation, they need to try to improve as a company, and this is one way of doing that. While the damage has been done and Pochi is out of the company, we can at least hope that Idol Corp will improve in the future. That is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. This is Rex Nebula signing out.